everybody. I am back on my normal system today, so hopefully I won't have all the tech issues of yesterday. Yay! So it has been another exciting day here. Not really, but kind of. Because of my baking adventure yesterday. I mentioned it while I was chatting with you yesterday about the chocolate babka bread that I was making. That chocolate babka, I'm not sure if this comes out, I think it's maybe backwards on the screen, but anyway, if you can read backwards, chocolate babka, it's described as a classic Eastern European dessert. And this recipe that I got out of a magazine is freaking amazing. It took me 15 and a half hours to make this bread. So I made a double batch because I knew it was going to be time consuming. But I didn't realize it was going to be 15 and a half hours. Oh my gosh. But it was so worth it. I'm not sure I'll ever do it again. So anyone who thinks I might make them a loaf, Casey, you are probably sadly not going to get one, but it was worth it for a one-time adventure in the kitchen. I started it before I even had breakfast yesterday. I started the first step because I knew it was going to take pretty much all day. I didn't realize it was going to be up till almost midnight finishing it. But, I started off first thing in the morning, mixed up the dough, and then it had a rising period. I had my breakfast, got dressed, whatever, and then did the second part with adding in more things and letting it rest again. And then added in more things and then let it rest again, and then mixed up all the fillings while it was resting, and then added the fillings and let it rest again, and then added more fillings or toppings and let it rest again, and then it was finally time to bake it. This was just ridiculous. Like, there was rest periods in there, but even during a lot of those I had to be preparing for the next thing, so it was very time consuming. And so it had lemon and orange zest in the dough and a heck of a lot of butter. It had a lot of egg yolks. So it was a very rich dough, very much like a brioche. If you've had brioche before, it's basically like a brioche, except that it's kind of like a cross between a brioche and a coffee cake because it has all this stuff mixed in and strudel topping. So the stuff I added in the middle, there are 4 different things I added in the middle. It had chocolate, it had rum-soaked raisins, not just any raisins, you have to soak them in rum first. It had a cinnamon sugar mixture, and it had what they called the filling, although I would say it was one of 4 fillings, but the main filling was made with cake. Yes, there was cake in the bread. Yeah, that's how good this recipe is. It required sponge cake, but I couldn't find any and didn't want to make any, and so I used angel food cake, which is a decent substitute. And so I had to crumble up angel food cake, a full cup of angel food cake crumbs per loaf, mixed with more butter and more sugar. And so don't even tell me about how unhealthy this recipe is and I shouldn't be eating it, because I know. I know. This is the most decadent bread that I have ever possibly eaten, and certainly the most that I've ever made. And then it had the streusel topping as well, and there was nothing healthy in the streusel. It didn't have any nuts even. to give it some sort of redeem. Well, it had raisins in the middle, so there you go. It has fruit in it. Yay! So anyway, I finally finished it and pulled it out of the oven at like 10:30 or 11 last night, and then I had to let it cool so I could put the last topping on it, which was more chocolate. Really didn't need the more chocolate, but at that point I wasn't going to skip it. So I added the chocolate once it had cooled, so then I had to stay up and wait for it to cool, and then I could add the chocolate and then let it cool the rest of the way overnight and eat it this morning. So I finally got to taste it this morning, and it is fantastic. So here is a slice of my chocolate babka. See if I can do this without getting crumbs all over my computer here. Wow. There you go. Here's a slice. All those. So part of the whole letting it rest and stuff, you also like folded it and smushed it in and twisted it and then smushed and rolled it out with a rolling pin so that you got all this, the fillings, the 4 fillings all incorporated in there. And so you can see all the raisins and chocolate and everything mixed in there. Oh my gosh. This is just... I have chocolate on my hands. Excuse me. So good. Oh my gosh. And messy. You have to eat it with a fork because there's just so much chocolate. Yeah. So, while I was waiting for... while I was waiting for it to bake and cool, I finished knitting my square that, I probably shouldn't touch the bunny because I have chocolate on my hands, that is going to be the matching bunny to the white bunny that I knitted last week. And so it's almost done. I was hoping to have it done in time for this video so I could show you, but that'll be tomorrow. So I now have my square done, and can't actually see. There we go. Okay. So I've got my... Oh my gosh, the challenges of filming. Okay, so I got my square done, and I'm going to be stuffing it. When you gather it up, it's magically a bunny. You can kind of see there's how the bunny ears form. You just gather it, and suddenly the corners of the square there are a bunny. And yeah, so I'm gonna assemble that probably tonight, and then it'll be done. And I think I need some excuse me, I've been doing a podcast interview for the last hour, so my throat's scratchy. Need to take a break from talking, but I'm going to finish this video first. So, yeah, so tomorrow, hopefully, I will be able to show you the basically completed bunny. It needs a red ribbon because it represents a character in a show that always wears a red ribbon from their hair, but I don't think I have any red ribbon. So, except for that, it should pretty much be done tomorrow. So, I will bring it and show you the pair of bunnies when I am all done. Gary from Fergus Falls says, you have to bake it at home, couldn't afford to buy it at a bakery. Well, that's definitely true. That was, oh, I forgot to mention, it also had almond paste in it, which is, almond paste is very much like marzipan, slightly different, so you really don't usually, you can't usually substitute the two, but they have a very similar flavor. So if you're familiar with marzipan, that's what almond paste is like. So it had that in it too. So it's just, so it had citrus flavor, almond paste, rum, chocolate, cake, cinnamon sugar, and I'm probably forgetting some flavors, all in there. And yes, it was rather a lot of expensive groceries, but worth it. Oh my gosh. And the recipe originally was from a bakery in London, according to this article that I got it from. So apparently there is some bakery that sometimes sells this, but yeah, I wouldn't want to pay bakery prices for that because, oof, it was it's rich in flavor and rather rich in ingredients too. So yeah, definitely something if you want to try it. First of all, you probably can't find it at a bakery unless you live in London, and second of all, it's a lot cheaper to make at home. And such an adventure, and it wasn't actually hard to make. Like there wasn't any like you need to be an experienced chef to make it. It's a yeasted bread, so that kind of scares, I know, some new bakers, but yeasted breads don't have to be difficult, and you actually do it all in a stand mixer, so you don't have to knead it or anything because you just mix it in the stand mixer. So it was not difficult. Like there weren't any steps in it that were like, oh my gosh, that's new, I don't know how to do that. But it was time consuming. So if you have a lot of time on your hands because you're at home and have time, and you like to bake, look it up or message me and I'll take you a picture of my recipe that I got from the magazine and try it. If you can find flour and sugar at the store. I used up the last of my flour for these 2 loaves. I have a little bit left of bread flour, so I can still make some quick breads and cookies, but I can't do any more yeasted breads because that's not really good for yeasted breads. And I'm all out of all-purpose flour, so hopefully the stores get restocked soon. So if you have access to flour and sugar and time and like really rich food, try it. It's good. So yeah, that's my big thing. Also my hat. It's not new. Did I tell you about howling at the moon? I think I mentioned this the other day. So there's a thing some people are doing that I saw on Facebook about going out and howling at the moon every night at 8 o'clock for fun, for something to do, to show solidarity with all your neighbors that you can no longer talk to. Everybody can go out and howl at the moon together at 8 o'clock at your local time zone, whatever 8 o'clock is where you are. Is obviously not necessarily the same as when I am, but at 8 o'clock where you are, go outside and howl for however long you feel like, 10 seconds or an hour, if you can hold out that long. So my dad and I have been howling at the moon almost every night for many, many days now, and the better part of a week. And last night we went out to howl at the moon and it was cold out, and so he put this hat on, and I don't think I've seen this hat in my life. I don't know where he dug it out of. No idea. But he put on this hat to stay warm, and I was like, I love that hat. Can I use it for my Facebook video tomorrow? And so I've been wearing this hat today because it's so cute. Like it's got a little pom thing on the top. Oh my gosh. So I stole this hat. Luckily, both my parents and I all have about the same head size, so we all like hats and we all share hats. So anyway, my hat of the day is so cute. Okay, I bet you didn't know before this live video thing that I was like a hat geek, so there you go. It's good to learn something every day, although I'm not sure that learning something weird about me counts towards, that saying about learning something new every day, but whatever. Yeah, So today I was a guest on another podcast. Yesterday I told you about guesting for The Naked Podcaster. And so I recorded that one yesterday, but it won't be available until probably July. But the one that I did today was with, hang on, it's a longer name, Tourist in Your Town. The Tourist in Your Town podcast, which is a travel-themed podcast, obviously. And so I talked with them about my ride and, some travel stuff. And so that one should be available in a couple weeks. So I will post a link to that once it is up. And you can listen to it. It was a kind of a fun podcast. It's yeah, don't have much to say about it other than that. Nice host. So we had a fun conversation. And so check that out when it's available. And look her up before it's available. Tourist in Your Town, if you're looking for a new podcast to listen to. She was a great host. Haven't had a chance to listen to any of her shows myself yet, but I did enjoy talking with her, and so I would guess that her podcast is enjoyable to listen to. Not everyone is good at interviewing people, and not everyone is actually all that interesting. It's kind of mean to say, but anyway, I have tried listening to some podcasts that I'm like, yeah, no, this is just boring, so why are you putting this out there? But she was fun. So Tourist in Your Town, look that up, and I will post a link when mine is available. So yeah, it's raining today. Didn't get my walk in. Of course, I didn't really get my walk in the last few days when it wasn't raining, so I don't really have that excuse. Also, I have rain clothes. I could go walk in it anyway. But I'm feeling particularly sloth-like today, so I'm not going to walk in the rain. I'm just going to wear my cute waterproof hat inside. Of course, it's not my hat, but anyway, you know what I mean. Yeah, so that's about it. I have just been doing homework, my big school project. I had to interview a bunch of people for very in-depth, extended interviews about a particular topic, and then transcribe them all, and then analyze them all. And I finished the interviews, and I've almost finished the transcriptions. And transcribing is such a headache. Oh my goodness. Writing down every stutter and every fragment and sentence and every oops, every, like that. Oof. I used a program, the free app that is called otter.ai. If any of you care for some reason about transcribing things, there's this free app called otter.ai that is a AI, it's a artificial intelligence thing, so it listens to the audio recording you upload and writes down what is said, and so it gives you a text transcript of what was said, except that the way that people speak is not necessarily clear, and so it doesn't always understand everybody. And it's also not always clear when people speak where the sentence is ending. Or if it's a question, if you raise your voice, that's supposed to be a question, and so it puts a question mark there, but that's not actually always a question. So there's all sorts of errors, so I still have to go through and listen to it all and clean it up. Oh my gosh, so much work. Oh, it takes me about 4 or 5 times what the actual minutes of interview were to get it all cleaned up and ready for my paper. At least that. It might have been longer. Ugh. But what else am I doing? I am baking. So, done with the baking now. Now I can focus on homework. So that's my exciting life. But once the hard transcription part's done, the rest will be fun. But this is just kind of a meh sort of drag right now. So, some people who do podcasts actually provide transcriptions of their podcast for people who maybe are hearing impaired, so they can still read the transcript, or people who want to read the transcript for other reasons or something. There's a lot of reasons people provide transcripts, but I thought about it for mine, for How Horse Will Travel. I thought about doing transcripts. I'd never done one before, and the school project has convinced me I am not doing transcripts. So, if you were hoping for transcripts for the podcast, I'm sorry, you're not getting them. This is just, this is too much. I take enough time recording episodes and editing episodes and uploading episodes and making show notes and web pages and stuff. There's no way I'm doing a transcript also, so not happening. If you were hoping for that, sorry, no. But yeah, don't have much else to tell you. So tomorrow I will be back with my completed bunny and who knows what else, because that's the only thing on my schedule, and that's not going to take very long, so I'm sure I'll come up with something else entertaining for tomorrow. Today's Saturday, so tomorrow is my next podcast episode release, and I don't remember which one it is, but I will find out the same time you'll find out, in the morning when it's available. So, yeah, so if you have been enjoying my podcast, you'll be able to get another one tomorrow, and if you haven't been, you should start, and you can get another, and you can get your first one tomorrow. You can get your first one today and catch up and then listen tomorrow. So anyway, new episode. It will be available in the middle of the night tonight. So as soon as you wake up tomorrow, you can wake up and listen to my podcast. I will post links for that in the morning. And there's always links from my website as well. So you can always just go on there. So yeah, that's the big excitement probably, is the new podcast and the bunnies. So yeah, nothing else here. So I am going to sign out, and so I will be back tomorrow for Pacific, 5 Mountain, 6 Central, and 7 Eastern. So I will see you tomorrow. Have a great Saturday night. Bye.